Banks aren't lending. Fed data shows they continue to tighten. What do you think will trigger them to start lending again? A market correction of vaccine negative rates? I don't think they will, Adrian. I don't think, and this goes back to what Snyder was saying about the Eurodollar market being completely broken since 2008. And that's why I think you've seen asset prices go up so much, and you might not have, you haven't seen as much consumer price inflation as one would have thought if you would have foreseen QE 1, 2, and 3, say back in 2008 or something like that. It's so why is that? Because the money that's been created has flowed into the financial system through financial engineering, because the banks aren't willing to lend to Main Street. They're only willing to lend to Wall Street because they think the risk reward is better. So, and that's because of the Fed. It all goes back to the Fed and central planners. So at what point do those banks say, okay, now we're willing to go back into the real economy? I don't think we get there. I don't think we get there. I think what's more likely to happen, Adrian, is for the Fed or the government to go around the banking system to where they are injecting or they're creating bank deposits in the commercial banking system themselves without needing the commercial banking system to create an additional loan to make that deposit. And I think they'll do that through the central bank digital currency, because we'll all have an account with the Fed. Hopefully we won't, but all the normies, your friend and family member Fred, I mean, they'll sign up for it immediately. They can't wait to sign up for it. Why? Because they'll most likely get free Fed coins. And so they're going to want their free Fed coins. So they're going to download that app, which in the process is going to give them an account with the Fed or the XYZ central planner. And therefore, they're going to be able to see every single one of their transactions and aggregate that data in real time. And they'll also be able to issue loans directly. And since the Fed theoretically has an infinite balance sheet and they can take a haircut, maybe we get to the point where they issue those loans, those new loans, not based on your credit score or your ability to pay back the loan, but they do it on things such as a social score. So whether or not you get that mortgage doesn't have anything to do with the fact that you've got a 750 credit score if you've been caught on camera 3 or 4 times in the last month walking outside your house without a mask. Now you don't get that loan. Or if you do get the loan, it's at 8% interest rate instead of a 3% interest rate. Now, will we go that direction? I sure as hell hope not. But I know a lot of people say, oh, George, that's too kind of tinfoil hat. Listen, cut me out of the equation. Go directly to the World Economic Forum's website. Read it straight from them. Don't listen to me. Come to your own conclusions. And then what people need to do is they need to put themselves in the position of being that. I know it's difficult to do for ethical people like everyone here on my live stream. It's hard for us to imagine having an insatiable lust for power and willing to do quite literally anything to fulfill that lust, that greed, that wanting to control other people. But if you're able to do that for a moment, you ask yourself, if I'm trying to get here, and I'm here, how do I get there? And that's what I do for a lot of my whiteboard videos. And if I'm Klaus and I want to get to this socialist utopia, this is exactly how I do it. I make sure everyone has an account with the Fed. I do the digital currency. And then I do exactly what I'm talking about. And then I aggregate all that data. And then I use AI, artificial intelligence to allocate resources instead of price signals. Why does that matter? Because price signals are something we get. It's the data we get that's decentralized from free market capitalism. And that's one of the reasons, one of the main reasons why communism didn't work in Russia, because they couldn't allocate scarce resources with alternative uses because there were no prices. So they didn't have the data. They didn't know what to do. It's the blind leading the blind. But if I'm Klaus, I know that. I know that was a flaw with communism. But if I still want to achieve my socialist utopia, then that's how you do it. You make sure that you have enough data, and they would have enough data because every single transaction in the United States would flow through the Fed, because we all have bank accounts and every business has an account with the Fed, just like the primary dealer banks. So they're able to crunch all of this data through artificial intelligence in real time to allocate those resources. And then, of course, they want us renting everything. They don't want anything. They don't want people, individuals, just like you and I. They don't want us to own anything. Zero. You have nothing. Everything you do, you have to, it's like being a child. You have to just ask permission from mommy and daddy state. You have to ask permission to have something or to rent something from the algorithm. And if the artificial intelligence tells you you can have a car, then you can have a car. But if the artificial intelligence, if the algorithm says you can't have one, you're done. And it's almost, I mean, whether you're religious or not, it's almost like they're trying to replace God with artificial intelligence. And I know that sounds crazy, and I, trust me, I get it. But if I'm Klaus, just based on what he says on his own website, that's how I get it done. I get it done through the digital currency, through the central bank digital currency and artificial intelligence. That's how I get to the socialist utopia. Take that for what it's worth.